If you're an everyday listener to the show, make sure you become a Locked On Mets insider. This is our texting service where you get updates from me anytime news breaks on the Mets. You can ask me questions anytime. You can also take part in our Locked On Mets signed photo giveaway, and you get the lineup graphic sent to your phone each day, so you know who's in the starting lineup without ever having to go on social media. If you want to be a Locked On Mets insider, find the link in the episode description or go to subtext.com/LockedOnMets. Now, it was August 23rd, not quite 2 weeks ago, when I published an article for Just Baseball titled, "By Definition, Francisco Lindor is the real NL MVP," and I've only been more emboldened by my take as I have watched game after game unfold where Lindor is locked in the midst of a hitting streak, doing everything for the New York Mets, and on the other side, Shohei Ohtani continues to hit home runs and steal bases. But I don't think that those two stats alone should carry a guy to an MVP when he doesn't have to play defense and when he is on the best team in baseball with two MVPs literally behind him in the lineup. Francisco Lindor's got Brandon Nimmo batting behind him with a 747 OPS, and there has been times when it's Mark Vientos, a guy in his first full season. Ohtani, it's Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. These guys are playing a different game. Shohei Ohtani, if you were doing this on MLB The Show, is playing rookie mode. It's easy to steal bases. He's that athletically gifted. And if someone makes a mistake, he puts a good swing on it, it's going to go out. He is bigger, faster, stronger than almost anyone in baseball, probably not named Aaron Judge. And he's faster than Aaron Judge. Now, you look at Lindor. He's playing on Hall of Famer superstar mode, okay? He's got a team behind him that obviously has talent. They are a great team, but he has been the driving force to make them a great team. He has been the unifying leader that has held everyone accountable and has set the tone at the top of the lineup. He also has to play defense, and he's the one guy in the lineup that teams might try to pitch around because there isn't a ton of guys behind him that can hurt you in the same way. Well, there are guys that can hurt you. I don't want to, just go so far in on this take that I am belittling the rest of the Mets lineup because they do have a good lineup. It's just not what the Dodgers have with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. And I want to talk about tonight's game for both teams because it's a perfect encapsulation of what this race looks like to me. The New York Mets win by a score of 4-1. Game was tight the whole way. Now, the game was tight for large portions for the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks, but they win by a score of 11-6. Shohei Ohtani went 2 for 4 with 2 walks. He scored 2 runs. He stole 3 bases. Behind him, Mookie Betts went 2 for 4 with a walk, 3 runs, scored 3 RBIs. Freddie Freeman hit 2 home runs, drove in 5 runs, and Teoscar Hernandez was 5 for 5. There is so much firepower in that lineup. That, in my eyes, minimizes a little bit Ohtani's impact on being the most valuable player. And maybe I'm wrong to say that, the guy that's on the loaded team doesn't deserve as much credit. You might just say best player on the best team. But when the best team has 3 best players, it's not as valuable as the team that clearly has 1. And then we talk about the statistics, right? You look at this case, and I made it a couple weeks ago, but I just want to reiterate some points from it. From July 1st through play on Sunday, because this didn't have the stats from today's game on Fangraphs when I sorted it as I was doing research for the show tonight. So since July 1st through September 1st, Francisco Lindor is pacing the National League with 3.7 wins above replacement. That is over a win better than the second best guy, which was Brenton Doyle, and a 1.5 better than Ohtani. Lindor has more RBIs during that span, the same amount of runs scored, on a worse team with 17 less stolen bases. So you think about the fact that he has scored the same amount of runs in that 2-month span when he's not stealing nearly as many bases as Ohtani. And obviously that is partially due to the guys behind you. But to me, it just shows you that as much as that stolen base stat is so heavily in favor of Shohei Ohtani, Lindor is still scoring as many runs during this important stretch of the season. Francisco Lindor, since July 1st, has a better batting average, better on-base percentage, and a better WRC+. WRC+ is an all-encompassing stat that measures hitters on a league average of 100. Lindor has been better in an all-encompassing offensive stat despite all the home runs from Shohei Ohtani. Then we talk about the stats since August. Francisco Lindor told Jeff Passan, MVPs are won in August and September. And I will actually point out too, Lindor is doing all the right things on the media aspect of this as well. He has done interviews with the two most influential insiders, journalists, whatever you want to call it in baseball, Jeff Passan and Ken Rosenthal. These guys have big readership and they have some sway. So Lindor's playing the game a little bit, and rightfully so. He deserves it. And all he did is accept the interview request, but the interview request came because of his play. Now, again, he told Jeff Passan, MVPs are won in August and September. Shohei Ohtani in August hit 12 home runs and was 15 for 15 in stolen base attempts. That's crazy impressive, right? He also hit 235 and got on base at a 286 clip. Francisco Lindor paced him in OPS by 50 points, in batting average by 90 points, hit well over 300, in on-base percentage by 86 points. Lindor's in the 370s with his on-base percentage. This is in August. Ohtani in the 280s. And in WRC+, again, a stat measuring hitters on a league average of 100, Lindor was 27 points better than Shohei Ohtani. All right, so August, in my eyes, Lindor won the month, but not in the narrative, because the narrative just sees the stolen base number climbing, the home run total climbing. He might get to 50 and 60, 50 home runs, 60 stolen bases. And in that world, no one's going to vote for Lindor over Ohtani, even if Francisco Lindor finishes with a higher wins above replacement and he did more for his team. And it's a damn shame, and I will die on this hill. Shohei Ohtani hits every mistake out. He is an automatic stolen base. He's playing on rookie mode, man. And yeah, at the end of the day, the stats are going to tell the story in any MVP case. And Ohtani's stats might be too compelling for a voter to ignore. But I'm looking at a guy in Ohtani who's the most naturally gifted player in the sport. More athleticism than pretty much anybody else. Playing on a team where the game has been made easy for him. If Shohei Ohtani was doing this on the Angels as a DH, 50 home runs, 60 stolen bases, and the Angels were a winning team even, just a winning team, with all the other slop around him, I'd be like, yeah, of course. But Ohtani's not doing this on the Angels. He's doing this on the Dodgers, who are penciled in to win 100 games every single season. Has he had a great year? Of course. Are the numbers eye-popping? Absolutely. Should that be rewarded more than the guy that took a team that might be a 75-win club and has dragged them into the thick of the playoff race? No. And it's not all about Lindor on the Mets. Other guys are having good years. But he's the one that locked the doors of the clubhouse on May 29th, showed his voice as a leader, held his guys accountable, and started this winning stretch. And since May 29th, the New York Mets are 51-32. It's right there with the Astros and Diamondbacks as the best three teams in baseball during that span. Only teams that have hit 50 wins since May 29th. Lindor took his team from 11 games under to 10 games over. From clear seller to buyer. His MVP case is better than Shohei Ohtani's. And I'm going to keep singing his praises for the rest of this season and probably beyond that because he deserves it. And the last point I'll make on Francisco Lindor before we move to Kodai Senga, because there's some interesting stuff there to close out the show. Buck Showalter was on MLB Network today. He's biased just like me. But he was asked about who should be the MVP. And he said Francisco Lindor because of the impact that having to play and, every single day as your shortstop, bringing that excellent defense, what that does for your club. Buck Showalter knows a lot about winning. He does. He knows about what it takes for a team to win because he has managed thousands of games. And I think anybody that is that ingrained in the game of baseball, that has done the marathon time and again, if they were asked what is more valuable, the guy who is the sole vocal leader of a club, playing elite defense at the most premium position while carrying the lineup from the leadoff spot, is that more valuable than the DH who's hit a lot of home runs and stolen a lot of bases on the loaded team? And in my eyes, it's an obvious MVP case that is not seen that way at all. And I'll tell you what, I am in text threads with the other writers and content creators we have at Just Baseball all the time who are telling me I'm crazy for being this gung-ho on Lindor's MVP case. And they look at me as biased because obviously I am. I've watched every single game of this season for Lindor. I haven't done that for Shohei Ohtani. But Lindor deserves every bit of accolades that he gets, including an MVP that probably won't come.